What is up, CTC family? Chase That Coin here, and today we want to talk about a few different things. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to give my 3 opinions, like I said, opinions, as to why I think the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market hasn't been taking off and in fact has been decreasing. The next thing I want to talk about is an announcement from the Tezos Foundation. And last but not least, I want to quickly talk about is EOS truly a feeless model? All right. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so first we're going to start off with Bitcoin. Obviously, with Bitcoin, we've been in a downtrend for some time now. We've had a few attempts, including this double top right here, towards breaking out. Now, my key levels, my personal key levels have been 11,500 to around 11,800. So basically 11,500 to 12,000 is the range that I'm personally waiting for me to consider BTC, to be in an official uprun. All right. So if we just do some quick technicals, all right, if we zoom out, we can obviously see that, yes, coming from the top left of our screen towards the bottom right, that we have been indeed in a downtrend. Okay. There's a few different things that are interesting about this downtrend, though. Right here, we have a low. Okay, we have a higher low right here, and depending on how this shapes out, we could get a higher low here, or we could get I'm thinking we're gonna form a higher low, but I think we're gonna go a little bit lower, and we're gonna approach the 6,255 support. All right, so that's my overall thinking. I'm still pretty bullish. While I'm overall bullish, but I'm kind of neutral as far as what can happen. Right now, I definitely can see us going a little bit lower with some panic ensuing. But what is the reasoning behind this stuff? All right. Now, in my opinion, the first main reason, which a lot of people don't take into account, is the traditional market. All right. Without getting too much into how bonds work. All right. Bonds have yields. All right. Now, the way that what investors of our time, my parents' time are used to are decreasing yields. All right. As of lately, the yields have been rising, and a lot of experts are saying that the way that the yields for the bonds have been rising is not sustainable with the way that money is injected into the economy right now. Okay. So the bond yields are rising, which means that which means the Fed can create more bonds, all right, to inject into the market. When that happens, we're going to get less buyers. Okay. When that starts to happen, it translates over into the traditional stock market, which we know has been on an incredible rise. All right. But it is starting to show signs that that rise is starting to die off. The buy pressure is starting to slow down. Very comparable to how Bitcoin was at 19,000, and then we started to see some signs of, this is the top where we're starting to slow down. The buy pressure is starting to die off, and the sell pressure is starting to pick up. All right. So the traditional market, is a lot of people are watching it very closely and waiting for a downward move. If that happens, in my opinion, I do not think that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to be the saving grace, in the sense that people are going to run from the stock market and jump into cryptocurrency. When that happens, all right, that is going to be another factor into checking off the recession box. Now, without getting in too deep into how recessions work, recessions, you need 2 consecutive quarters of the numbers meeting a certain criteria for them to consider it to be a recession. So we could already be in a recession for months. We could have already have been in a recession for months, but we won't know until the next quarter comes out, and then they tell us, like, hey guys, you're in a recession. Then panic ensues. Oh my God, we're all crying, wiping our faces with fiat or the BTC that we have. All right, so that's how that works. The second thing in my opinion. So like I said, I don't think if the stock market starts to crash and we start to approach 25,000 and these numbers, it's gonna go quick. And I don't think that BTC and cryptocurrency is gonna be the place that people are gonna be running. Some people are gonna run there, but it's not gonna be an exodus into cryptocurrency. The next thing that's holding the cryptocurrency market back is the heavy scrutiny or possible regulation of ICOs. Now, whether you like Ethereum or the ICO model or token model in general, it is and has become a huge part of the ecosystem. Even though EOS is going to be its own system, it is running on an on an ERC20 standard. If I'm not mistaken, same for Tron. They have their mainnet coming out soon. A few others. So a lot of these projects, even if they plan on doing their own thing, a lot of times they start off as an ERC20 token on that. So that's starting to get a lot of eyes from regulators, including the SEC, saying, you know, there is no such thing as a utility token. You guys made that term up. So we're starting to get a little pressure with that. Okay, so that's a big part of the market that if it becomes heavily regulated and the only thing that people are able to do is securities tokens, that's going to dry up a use case for the market, which is ICOs. I think they have a place. I do think that they've been heavily abused and promoted, kind of whatever. Well, whatever. But the third thing, all right, last but not least, is the exchanges. Okay, guys. Now, the exchanges are starting to cooperate more and more with the regulators as far as money laundering and with tax evasion. So Bitfinex started to send out emails saying that they're going to need, you know, you're going to need your social security number so they can, you know, distribute, so you can pay your taxes according to your region. This sent a shock into the market. There was a big portion of people that were getting away with that. I don't know if they thought they were going to get away with not being able to pay any taxes forever. But you know, as long as you see a need to go back into fiat to pay your bills, then you're gonna that's the tax right there. That's the tax portal right there. So those three things, in my opinion, are heavily influencing BTC as far as why it's not taking off. Now, along with a few other things, maybe like Lightning Network and different things not being ready. If Lightning Network was ready and Bitcoin was lightning fast, and you know we could send it back and forth and the fees were low and different things like that, I think it probably wouldn't be 20,000, but I doubt it would be down here at 8,000. I think we would be more so up at 13, 15,000 right now, and holding that range, maybe waiting for the next big announcement of who's accepting Bitcoin or what company or whatever. All right. So the next thing we want to get into is an announcement from the Tezos Foundation. Those of you who don't know, I have been a very big Tezos supporter from day one. I didn't advise anybody to get into the ICO because I purposely didn't make a video during the ICO because I didn't want to influence anyone to get into ICO, because people have a tendency of, oh, this person talked about it, let me just jump in. Oh, this person spoke about it, let me just jump in. So I purposely didn't cover it in ICO. The day that the ICO closed, I made my first video about it, and that was months ago. They've had their downfalls. They've had their bright moments. I think that what they're doing right now is they're working on the bedrock. All right. And they're not focused on hype, which is a good thing. All right. It's not going to be super exciting right away, but it's a good thing. All right. So Tezos Foundation supports INRIA and Tirades. All right. This is a French word, and I think it's pronounced Tirade. Tirade. All right. And when I looked it up, that's what it sounded like the guy was saying. All right. So if we look back at some of these announcements, all right, so Tezos Foundation supports Ocaml Labs and MDIA. All right, MDIA is an institution that houses people in, in science research in different areas. So they house people, and basically it's like a place where you come and learn and, you know, sharpen your tools, roughly speaking. All right, Ocaml Labs. They've also Learn Ocaml. So they, all of their, my point in this is all of their partnerships have been for the bedrock. It's not for any hype right now. A lot of people think that, some people think that Tezos isn't going to launch. I personally think not because I have a pretty nice investment in it, just simply because I think that they're taking the right steps so that when they put this thing out, it's solid. All right. They're going through 2 audits right now, code and security audit. So, you know, and another thing, Ocaml, some people think that Ocaml, the language, was made for Tezos, and it wasn't made for Tezos. This thing has been out for decades. All right. So this thing, Ocaml, is older than Bitcoin. All right. So the fact that they're using this language and trying to foster the language and bring attention to the language is a really cool thing. And by the time coders get up to these type of languages like Ocaml, which Tezos is using, or Haskell, which Cardano is using, a lot of these are seasoned programmers. These aren't just guys that are just coming off the street and learning this stuff. You know, these are, a lot of the times these guys know multiple languages, and something about functional languages has drawn them towards Ocaml or Haskell. So that's that. I'm going to be covering Tezos a lot here on this channel. The beta net with tradable tokens will be launching by the 30th of June. Okay, so on to the next thing, EOS. Now, for those of you who don't know, EOS is a smart contracts platform that is focusing on high throughput or scalability. All right. So they want to be able to have all of these different dApps and different things built on the platform and be able to run with a high throughput, all right, of hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. So they say. All right. This is yet to be proven. Could they possibly do it? Definitely. I think there's going to be a time where that's going to be the standard in blockchain. So I'm not really, you know, I don't really feel, no, I don't think any blockchain should feel left out as far as that. But what is truly, so it's a few different things that EOS is tackling different. So the way that they're going about their delegated proof of stake with the 21 delegates. All right. So it's possible that Genesis Mining, Bitfinex, and these type of people could become block producers. So block producers are basically like a miner, all right? Or the people that run the network. There's only going to be 21 of them, all right? So with other proof of stake or other different types of cryptocurrencies, they worry about the exchanges having a large portion of the staking token on the platform and controlling those tokens. EOS is going about it in a different way, you know, because of the way that they're going about things. So I don't think that they're really worried about Bitfinex and different, you know, big, huge entities like Bitfinex and Genesis Mining and different things like that. They're not worried about those guys being block producers. Another thing that they're tackling a little bit differently is this whole feeless thing. In my opinion, all right, and this is from me looking, and leave your comments down below. I might be wrong. But EOS is not feeless. All right. What they simply have done is, instead of you paying a transaction fee, all right, they're going to inflate the amount of coins. All right. So a lot of other blockchains are inflationary, but the key is that it can be inflationary, but does it dilute the amount of coins that you have? So Tezos, for example, they both use delegated proof of stake, but 2 different models. on Tezos, you can be your own delegate. I can be a baker, not a block producer, but I can be a baker. I can bake blocks. It's just different terminology, whatever. But I can delegate to myself, or I can delegate to a delegation service. So there can be tens of thousands of delegates on Tezos. With EOS, it's a little bit different. But with Tezos, every time you want to make a transaction, you have to pay a small fee. With EOS, you don't pay any fees for any transactions. You're able to use how much ever of the tokens that you have in proportion of how much of the network capacity is being used. But here's the difference. They both have additional tokens that are generated over time through the staking and the baking process. 5% for Tezos. I forget the amount for EOS. But with Tezos, I can bake my own. So let's say if I have 10,000 Tezos, I can bake my own blocks and receive 50 to 100 Tezos a year, right? Or more than that. Well, 10%. So it would be 500, excuse me. It would be 500, at a minimum of 500 Tezos a year. So those Tezos would be coming to me. With EOS, let's say I have 1,000 EOS. At the end of the year, I don't have any more EOS. I still have 1,000 EOS, right? The block producers get those rewards, and the amount of EOS goes up, pushing the importance or relevance, or diluting the amount of EOS that I have. So in certain situations that may be really good, but I personally think that I only want to pay for what I use. I don't want the whole network diluting the amount of stake that I have just for free transactions. What if I'm not making that many transactions? Then free transactions isn't important to me like that. So I think this is not me hating or bashing on EOS. I think it's going to be useful in certain use cases. Other use cases, I don't think it's going to really work out that well. Very interesting, very interesting. I am very interested in the EOS launch because it's so different. The way that they're going about it is totally different. They're not launching a network. It's feeless. They're going to be able to do all these transactions per second. I'm just very interested in it. I don't have any of it. I'm willing to I talk about it I talk about it because it's interesting and it's in the cryptocurrency space. And I try not to be super tribal and whatever. But that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go check out chasethatcointrading.com. Check out the links in the description below for the Telegram group. And until next time, keep chasing that coin, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.